Hello everyone. Welcome back to our channel, U.S. Immigration News. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about Trump's planned large immigration raid in Chicago on Tuesday. The incoming Trump administration has unveiled plans for an expansive immigration enforcement operation targeting unauthorized immigrants across the United States. Scheduled to begin the day after Donald Trump takes office, the initiative highlights the administration's commitment to delivering on campaign promises of strict immigration control. With Chicago as a focal point, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement will deploy hundreds of officers to conduct raids, signaling a significant departure from the more measured policies of the Biden administration. Administration to send 100 to 200 officers to the city on day 2 of a new presidency, Wall Street Journal reports. Donald Trump's incoming presidential administration plans to launch a large immigration raid in Chicago the day after he takes office, the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday, citing 4 people familiar with the planning. The raid, expected to start on Tuesday, would last all week, the newspaper said, adding that U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement would send between 100 and 200 officers to carry out the operation. Trump's transition team did not immediately respond to a Reuters request for comment, but a source with knowledge of the incoming administration's plan said ICE would intensify enforcement across the country, and there would not be a special focus on Chicago or a surge of personnel there. "We're going to be doing operations all across the country," the person said. "You're going to see arrests in New York. You're going to see arrests in Miami." Trump's incoming border czar, Tom Homan, told an event in Chicago that the administration was going to start right here in Chicago, Illinois, the Journal reported. "And if the Chicago mayor doesn't want to help, he can step aside. But if he impedes us, if he knowingly harbors or conceals an illegal alien, I will prosecute him," he was quoted as saying. Immigration was at the center of Trump's campaign in the lead-up to the November 5th presidential election. "Within moments of my inauguration, we will begin the largest domestic deportation operation in American history," Trump said in January 2024. Trump is expected to mobilize agencies across the U.S. government to help him deport record numbers of immigrants, Reuters has reported, building on efforts in his first term to tap all available resources and pressure so-called sanctuary jurisdictions to cooperate. ICE planning to ramp up arrests in major U.S. cities after Trump takes office, sources say. The incoming Trump administration is planning to ramp up operations to arrest unauthorized immigrants across major U.S. cities next week after President-elect Donald Trump takes office, targeting sanctuary jurisdictions that limit cooperation with federal immigration officials. 2 sources familiar with the plans tell CBS News. The locations expected to be targeted by deportation teams from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement include those with large populations of immigrants, such as the Chicago area, one of the sources said. Asked on Fox News about a potential IC operation in Chicago next week, a plan first reported by the Wall Street Journal incoming White House border czar Tom Homan said, "There's going to be a big raid all across the country." Trump has promised to stage a sweeping crackdown on illegal immigration immediately after being sworn in, pledging to oversee the largest deportation effort in U.S. history. The incoming administration is expected to quickly undo Biden administration rules that limit who IC agents should prioritize for arrest and deportation, making most of those in the U.S. illegally subject to being detained and removed from the country. The Biden-era rules generally limited IC enforcement to serious criminals, recent border crossers, and national security threats, largely shielding long-standing undocumented immigrants without criminal histories from deportation. Homan has also pledged to reinstate large-scale immigration arrests at work sites that hire workers living in the country unlawfully, a practice that was discontinued by the Biden administration. While Homan has said the incoming administration will still prioritize unauthorized immigrants with criminal records for arrest, he has stressed that no one in the country unlawfully will be exempted from immigration enforcement. If IC agents find unauthorized immigrants who are not criminals during operations, they could be arrested in what are known as collateral arrests, Homan has said. The planned operations underscore the Trump administration's intent to enforce immigration laws aggressively and reverse prior lenience. By targeting sanctuary jurisdictions, reinstating workplace raids, and expanding enforcement to include nearly all unauthorized immigrants, the administration aims to establish a new era of strict border control and deportation policies. While supporters view this approach as fulfilling campaign promises, critics warn of the potential social and humanitarian consequences for immigrant communities. As the nation braces for the implementation of these policies, the long-term implications remain uncertain.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel US Immigration News. We hope you are doing great. In this video, we are going to talk about Trump's plan, large immigration raid in Chicago on Tuesday. The Trump administration planned to launch a large-scale immigration enforcement operation immediately after Donald Trump assumed office targeting unauthorized immigrants across the United States. According to the Wall Street Journal and other sources, US Immigration and Customs Enforcement will deploy 100 to 200 officers to Chicago starting Tuesday, with the operation expected to last a week. Chicago, which is classified as a sanctuary jurisdiction due to its policies limiting cooperation with the federal immigration authorities, is expected to be a focal point. However, the incoming administration has emphasized that similar operations will take place nationwide, including cities like New York and Miami, with no specific focus on Chicago. Tom Oman, Trump's incoming border Caesar, has signaled that this initiative marks the beginning of a broader crackdown on unauthorized immigration, fulfilling campaign promises. Oman stated that the administration will prioritize individuals with criminal records, but emphasized that no unauthorized immigrants will be exempt from enforcement. The planned operation will include collateral arrests, wherein unauthorized immigrants without criminal records may also be detained if encountered during raids. Oman warned that local officials who obstruct federal immigration enforcement efforts could face prosecution, highlighting the administration's intent to put Operation Sanctuary Jurisdiction into compliance. Trump's immigration agenda represents a sharp departure from the policies of his predecessor, Joe Biden. Under the Biden administration, ICE focused enforcement on a serious criminal, recent border crossers, and national security threats, largely shelling locked-up undocumented immigrants without the criminal stories from deportation. Trump's team plans to reverse this limitation, expanding enforcement to include most unauthorized immigrants. The administration is also expected to reinstate large-scale workplace raids targeting employers who hire unauthorized workers. This practice, continued during Biden tenure, underscored the administration's intent to disrupt networks supporting unauthorized immigration. Oman emphasized that ICE agents would aggressively pursue any unauthorized individuals they encountered during these operations, aiming to maximize the impact of enforcement efforts. Immigration was a central theme of Trump's campaign, with the president-elect promising the largest deportation effort in US history. Trump has vowed to mobilize federal agencies and resources to implement this agenda, prioritizing cities with a large immigrant population and sanctuary policies. Critics of the planned operations are likely to raise concern about the social and human impact of such aggressive enforcement, particularly on immigrant families and communities. The plan raids reflect a broader strategy to reshape US immigration enforcement, finding a return to policies emphasizing strict border control and deportation. Trump's approach aims to send a strong message to sanctuary jurisdiction while advancing his administration's commitment to reversing prior policies and intensifying federal immigration enforcement.